Hello, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Layla, and today I'm going to give you a breakdown of exactly how I spent my money in 2024. Every year, I create an annual budget or spending plan. I actually have a video on how to create your own annual budget if you're not sure what that even is, but I did create one for 2024, and more recently I made one for 2025, so I will link that down below. But going into 2024, I thought I would have my full-time job, but a few months in, I left my full-time job, so I updated that annual budget. So those are the numbers that I'm going to be going based off of, so I will show what I expected for the year as of June 2024, and what those numbers actually looked like. So I'll give you a breakdown of all the categories where I spent my money. So I'm gonna pop everything up on the screen as I go through it. I do have a number of categories here, so I apologize that the text will be kind of small, but of course I will be going through each thing and briefly explaining things, but briefly, I'm not sure. Sometimes I tend to talk a lot. Did I already say that they're gonna be sorted smallest to largest? I'm not sure, but they are going to be sorted from smallest spend to largest based on the actual spend. So first up would be my phone bill, which is with Mint Mobile. Y'all know that I partner with them quite frequently. This video is not in partnership with them, but I do always have my affiliate link in the description box. And actually right now they have their biggest sale of the year. So if you're interested in switching, I do definitely recommend. So I expected $390 for that because I have their unlimited plan and I pay for it every 12 months. But that actually was free. I did not end up paying for it. And I think this was actually a mistake. So there was like this sponsorship deal last year where if you post X amount of videos within the quarter, they would pay for your plan. So they paid for my plan back in 2023 because of that sponsorship agreement or challenge, whatever. But then I noticed maybe a couple of weeks after they had already given me a credit for the full year of my plan, they gave me an additional credit of the same amount. So it would have covered another year. So I think they did that on accident. Obviously, I'm very grateful for that. So I was like, okay, cool. So that cost me $0. I am still a paying customer of Mint Mobile. Like I have paid for Mint Mobile, and if I didn't get it for free, I would still pay for it. But yeah, just kind of cool that that worked out. So that one is the lowest because it cost me nothing. Next up is Spotify. I budgeted $99. That was actually $99. At this point, y'all are probably sick of me talking about the Spotify gift card hack to get just a full year of Spotify for $99. So if you go to Amazon.com or even sometimes Walmart.com, you can purchase a $99 Spotify gift card, and that is good for a full year of Spotify. So you save quite a bit of money. And this is on their individual premium plan. So it's not for like the duo plan or family plan, anything like that. Parking, I was expecting about $100 overall, but actually I went over budget here, so I spent $135.30 on parking. There were also a couple of times I paid for parking, but it counted as a business expense, so that's not even counted in here. But yeah, if we were to go to like Ponce City Market or parts of the city, you usually have to pay for parking, so it just came up more than I expected it to. Next is renter's insurance, $144.91. That is correct because I had already paid it in the year. I actually have to pay that in January, and that's something I completely forgot to budget for January. But yeah, that is coming up. I have this bundled with my auto insurance through Progressive. Next is fun/entertainment. I was expecting about $500 for the year. This was way lower, so I actually spent $182.99. This was probably on some like movie theater tickets, a couple of concerts in there. We went ice skating. Yeah, not that much on fun and entertainment. I guess this kind of makes up for the over budget on the parking as well. For Netflix, I was expecting $281.76, and that is correct. I pay $23 and some change each month because I have the plan where you can have another household on the plan. So my sister uses my Netflix account, but she does pay for it. I just subtract from what I pay her for the dog, so it makes up for it. But yeah, that is accurate. For my Sapphire, I was expecting to put $1,000 to this because at the time I had recently quit my job and decided on the Sapphire, but a couple of months later I was like, actually, I'm going to do the 401k. So I did not contribute $1,000. I contributed $420 to my Sapphire, and actually that is in the process of rolling over into my 401k, so that will be gone completely soon. Credit card annual fees, I budgeted $490, and that is correct. It was $490. Brokerage, I was expecting about $298 to go to that. I actually invested $498, so this is negative $200, as in I went over budget, but in my opinion, a good thing because the money is invested. For gifts, I budgeted $900 because I just did $75 times 12 because in the past, I always put $75 to my gift sinking fund. So this was just saving for gifts. But actually, that ended up being $507. So this was actual money that I put toward the gift sinking fund, I believe is what I put on here. Because at some point after leaving my job, I stopped adding money to this. I did spend money on gifts, but this is really just counting for the savings. And then for the most part, I did not pull from my gift sinking fund when I purchased gifts. I was just cash flowing it so I could let that savings build up, which will be helpful in the future. For my gym membership for the year, I was expecting about $550 and I pay about $40 per month plus there's an annual fee. However, altogether that came to $598.88 and this was because of Florida. So my boyfriend and I stayed in Florida for 3 weeks and we ended up getting a temporary gym membership while we were out there and that was like $75, so that got added in here. Next would be donations. I was expecting about $1,500 here, but that ended up being $602.64. Really this slowed down because of one, I was making less money, which I would prefer to donate more money, but yeah, if things are tight, like I do tend to prioritize myself, of course, but also we ended up getting a foster dog in July, which I did not expect, and I do pay for her food and the supplement she takes, that sort of thing, so in and of itself, that is a donation technically, which I did not count here. I counted that under dogs. So yeah, that's the difference there. Once she gets adopted, I will go back to donating on a monthly basis. Gas for my car, I was expecting about $850. This is basically right on point, which is crazy. $846.36 is how much I paid in gas for 2024. When I had my full-time job, it was remote, so I never had to drive to work or anything like that. And then obviously being self-employed, I also just work from home, so I don't drive too frequently. I go to the gym, and then if I, sometimes we'll go to the city. I did drive to Florida, which took up that was like the most that I spent on gas. And then if I drive to see family, that's a little bit of a longer distance, but otherwise I am mostly home, so that's why it's so low. Food out, I budgeted $900, and that was also basically right on point, $881.71 on food out. And this includes what I paid for just myself, but also if I paid for me and my boyfriend or me and somebody else. So yeah, pretty good there. Next is car insurance. I was expecting about $1,500 total. That came to $1,452, so about $48 under budget, which is good. Still pretty high, and I am planning on switching this year to a different insurance plan, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. I would like this to be lower overall just because I don't drive that much and my car is paid off. Next is my emergency fund, and I expected this to be about $2,000 after leaving my job. I actually ended up only saving $1,573.92. I think at the time of me filming, I was about $2,000 away from reaching 15K. But then in August, I did have to use my emergency fund. So yeah, that depleted it. And then I was able to save a little bit more. Plus, the interest is not counted in here that I earned in my high yield savings account. But yeah, at least I was able to save some. Didn't hit my 15K goal, as y'all know, but still a work in progress. Next is car maintenance, which I said would be about $2,300 just based off of what I put into savings. I don't know how I came up with $2,300, honestly, now that I'm thinking about this. Maybe I wanted to put more to this on a monthly basis, but this ended up actually being $1,930.05, so a little bit under budget here. And this is savings, so that's how much I actually put to my car maintenance sinking fund. I did get some car maintenance done. I think that's what that figure is. I did get some car maintenance done. Like I got new tires, oil change, of course. So that cost over $1,000 for all of that. But I pulled from my sinking fund, and then on a monthly basis, I have been adding to this. And I think I just skipped December, but otherwise I added every month to that sinking fund. Personal spending, I said that would be about $2,500. Basically right on track here. I actually spent $2,554.72 on personal spending, over budget by $54.72. This includes clothes, shoes, fiction books, which actually I'm pretty sure I can write off as a business expense based off of what my CPA said last year, because I do talk about those books on my other YouTube channel and that's monetized. So I'm probably able to write off quite a bit of that. But yeah, I feel like that's not too bad for the full year. For the dogs, I was expecting about $3,000. This was actually $3,032.68. And this is before I had the foster dog. So I guess I just put 3,000 just in case. So I do send my sister $180 each month for our dogs that we adopted together, but they live with her. Because we have pet insurance for them, and also she pays for all their food and stuff. So that goes to her. And then getting my foster dog, that obviously costs a bit more. Plus I started paying for food for a neighborhood cat, and I did that for several months, so that was added into there as well. Luckily no major like medical issues with any of the dogs this year, which is good, and that's part of the reason why we have the insurance, because it has happened before where one of our dogs had like a major surgery, and had we had insurance, we would have saved like thousands of dollars. So yeah, I guess, is pet insurance worth it? Sometimes. But oftentimes I want to say no, but when those big things come up that were not like pre-existing, yes, they're a lifesaver. Next would be groceries. I was expecting about $5,000 for the year, and I spent $5,082.15 on groceries. Not too bad. Household, I said $5,200. That ended up being $5,233.62. So this was mostly on furniture. So we did buy a bed in 2024. We got the couch, but I think that was 2023. Yeah, just some brand new furniture. And then also included in here is household stuff like cleaning supplies, tissue paper, that sort of thing. And also the garden. Getting a garden started, like the first time that you start gardening, it's pretty expensive, and I think it'll be expensive again this year for garden stuff, honestly, just because I'm not that established yet and I really want to get to that point. But that was quite a bit there too. Next is health and beauty. I was expecting about $4,800 here. That was actually $5,246.84, so over $400 over budget here. What happened here? Let me see. I know initially going into 2024, I thought this would be higher because I wanted to get some skin treatments, but I only did that once and decided not to do it again. In September, I spent almost $700 on health and beauty. November was high as well, and that was for skincare and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I would have to go back and look what I spent money on those higher months, but for the most part, this does include things. There was one point I had to pay for my prescription, even though I shouldn't have. And then any supplements that I buy, vitamins, skincare, shampoo, conditioner, all of that is included in there. Next is travel. I said $6,000. That was for savings, and that is correct. So early in 2024, I was able to save. So $5,995.57 is what I put to that sinking fund. And I haven't touched that sinking fund, so it's just, you know, growing beyond 6,000 at this point, which is really nice because when I do travel and book things, then I can just pull from that and not have to worry about it. 2024 Roth IRA, I said would be 7,000. That is correct. I maxed that out in January. My 401k, I said $9,454.35. I don't know how I came up with that number. I don't know if maybe I was counting my match or something, or if I thought I would increase it, but that was actually $9,004.35. That does not include the match from me as the employer of my business, just my actual contributions. So next is taxes. I was expecting $13,000 here. That ended up being $11,100.74. And now that I'm looking at this, I don't know if I included what I owed in taxes from 2023, because I did have to pay like $2,000 or so for 2023. But yeah, honestly, I'm not sure. So if that was included in here, it would be the $13K. This does include the taxes I paid as a W-2 employee at my last job, but also I'm a W-2 employee of my business, which I pay taxes on my paycheck, and then I also pay payroll taxes, which that is not counted on here because I don't know how that factors into like me actually paying taxes as an individual. You know what I'm saying? I really don't know all that much about taxes. I think it's just such a complicated thing. So that's why I have a CPA. I'll figure that all out. But so this number is probably a little bit skewed, but because of that, and hopefully I don't owe money for 2024 just because I did put more to like my 401k, and then I had all these business expenses. I'm filing as a S corporation, that sort of thing. So I don't know what to expect, but yeah. Oh, and also this includes any money that I paid directly, like estimated quarterly payments to the IRS and state taxes. Next is business plus electronics, which that counts as a business expense for me. I was expecting $9,000. That actually ended up being $11,505.21. And I would say the main thing that made this increase so much was working with a coach. That alone was $3,500. So definitely made it jump up quite a bit. Every month in 2024, I filmed an income report video where I also went over my business expenses. So if you're curious about what I spent my money on, you can go back and watch those. But these all count as tax write-offs, which is helpful. And then the final thing that I spent money on, the house and utilities. So I was expecting about $14,000 total for the year. Ended up being $13,700. So not too bad, $300 under budget, and overall just a pretty decent amount to pay for living expenses. If we add everything up, that is $90,100.40 of spending and saving. Like, you know, some of that is money that was just saved. And based off of what I budgeted, I am under budget by $2,657.62. Is it a good thing? Not necessarily, because some things I was under budget on that would have been better to be over budget on, like putting more money to my emergency fund, or even like with the taxes, I may have to owe money again. I have no clue. So it's not a bad thing or a good thing, but you can see that for the most part, I was on track with everything, which feels good. This is the importance of making an annual budget. And yeah, you can see the full picture instead of just looking month to month, because there are going to be months that you go over budget on things. But if you can stay in budget for the whole year, that makes a big difference. And even if it's off by a little bit, yeah, it's pretty cool what's possible. And in case anybody asks, because this may come up, I posted a video recently of my full finance review for 2024. And in that video, I mentioned that I made like $88,000 total for the year. And that was gross earnings, but you can see that I spent a total of over $90,000. But keep in mind that some of the money that I spent in 2024 was from the money that I made in 2023. So for example, I said that I maxed out my Roth IRA, but that was money that I saved in 2023 and maxed out my Roth IRA by January 3rd, 2024. So a full $7,000 came from the previous year. And so that's why I was able to pay for everything that I just went through. But that is everything. Let me know if y'all have any questions, but otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one.